So sorry for anyone who's watching. I know there was must be hundreds of French spectators tuning in to see their team play, the USA. And no doubt there was a couple of Americans up at the crack of dawn, or just still propping up the bar in hopes that they would catch their representatives playing the super technical French. And I'm sorry you guys missed it, because apart from maybe last year's final, I haven't heard an atmosphere like that at an inline hockey match ever in 8 years of World Championship hockey. It was absolutely electric. Echoing out across the Pallonde Arena, maybe 200 people watching, the entire French staff team and the vets screaming "Allez les Bleus." The American contingent hopping up and down. USA echoing from concrete benches across the way. And I'll leave you in suspense no longer. After an epic battle of technical skill and speed and just tenacity, good physical play, the French, who had the sort of most of the attacking runs for most of the first half, couldn't hold off. And despite a double penalty late in the second period, going 2 men up, 2 Americans sitting in the bench watching their team, still couldn't tip the balance, and USA were triumphant. And they beat Team France 3-1. And afterwards, there was no doubt about it that the entire stands in front of me here filled with all of the rest of the teams, the Slovenians, Team Canada, looking at their potential finalists, competitors, Team GB in front of me, USA, Germany. Everyone was out here watching this spectacle of hockey, and it was great to watch. It was great to watch. I just wish I could have brought it to you, but we just had a technical difficulty here. As I've mentioned many times before, we are just a bunch of guys grabbed in from the street, working as hard as we can to try and pull these things together. We did our very best, but if you'll forgive me, I'm not an IT guy. I mean, I'm only barely a sports teacher, to be fair. And I do that to the best of my ability. It might be not always the very best. But, you know, IT certainly isn't one of my fortes. It's not even one of my 5th days. Nevertheless, I think if what I see is right, we're back up and running and we've got the stream going. And I bring you now some fascinating news and some really interesting stuff, hopefully. Hello to any Canadians that have woken up this morning early doors to see the boys play. I am much encouraged by your patronage, and thank you very much for being so kind. I hope I do you and the chaps justice in describing for me what I see, not just the appreciation for the bravery and the tenacity of the gents who come out here and play and who have come so far at such great expense to their pocketbooks and their time to come and represent their country. Not that it's any hardship for them at all, really. I mean, who wouldn't if they had the chance? I know how important it is to these guys, because every single one of them dutifully wrote to me in their bios that Captain Michael Hunt orchestrated for me. Every single one of them expressed how important it was to them and how honored they were to represent their countries, and that's it's not missed. It doesn't go unnoticed. Just after these national anthems and before we start the dancing, Team Canada versus the Czech Republic This should be every bit as epic a match. But I have some interesting news for you. Coming up after national anthems and during the interval, standings currently, and a shock result from earlier on. Coming up after national anthems and during the interval, standings currently. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for your patience and your understanding here. If you've managed to join us now in the live stream, back up and running, you may just have missed the match of the tournament between Team USA and Team France. USA winning by the skin of their teeth, what it seemed like, but the scoreline says USA 3, France 1. Close match, every step of the way from beginning to end, full of drama. The USA team being really physically dominant. The French team, as expected, technically dominant. Both teams, fast pace, just really technical, expert hockey. And at this level, you could see the pedigree from which these gentlemen have grown from. You can see the ex-professionals, the paid players, the training that they've had at the highest level, and now still not yet quite ready to give up the game and retire. And what a show they put on for us. There should be now, here, every expectation that this game would be every bit as equal to that, as we now look at, you know, after what we consider to be the top two teams in the pool. We now look at this early preliminary matchup. which could be the top two teams of the other side. Every point is critical to try and get the best placings for the quarterfinals starting tomorrow. So there's no games that we can slack off on. Earlier today, the Czechs played Switzerland and lost 3-1. A shock result. Ouch, that's a bit of a shot to the head. Took one for the team there. If you guys are joining us now, we're here at the Pala Arena in Bolzano. And we're watching currently the Czech v Canada in the veterans class, moving the veteran matches over to here because of some fixture congestion. Earlier on, we had the under 38s team USA v France. It was an epic contest. But unfortunately, because of our technical difficulties, we couldn't bring that to you. So I have the pleasure of redeeming ourselves in some way by bringing you this veterans match. This is over 45s, although you'd be hard-pressed to know it. Canada v Czech. For obvious reasons, me being all here on my lonesome, I have just myself to try and gather all the stats and to do all the sort of background information and research, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm a little bit lacking in what I can do. Admittedly, the veterans are not featuring as much as the masters in the main competition, but I will try and describe for you a little bit about what's going on around the ground, because these guys are important too. I mean, many of them were in the under 38s team last year, and you can see, judging by the pace, that they're no less equal in terms of their skills and approach to the game than their slightly younger counterparts. But going around there, some of the sort of standings as it currently stands so far, Czech and Canada in the black pool of the veterans. So this is veterans hockey now. Czech and Canada doing really well. Slovakia and Germany struggling a little bit in those pools. In the red pool of the veterans, GB holding their own, not on the bottom. USA standing out. Italy strong in that red pool, so it's likely that they'll go through to their quarters and semis in a good position. The world team, who I will be playing for this afternoon versus USA, probably to a hiding, as the USA vets team are pretty strong. But I'll go out and represent and play a little bit of hockey, see if I can remember which end of the stick to hold on to. So things progressing along nicely in the vets, and both of these teams, Czech and Canada, doing reasonably well. The shock result earlier on today in the Masters, under 38s, we wish, over 38s, in the main competition is Switzerland 3, Czech Republic 1. That really puts things into perspective in terms of the championships going forward. I spoke to Martin Mekera, who you can see out here right now, number 7 for the Czech team, a gentleman who I've played with and against many times, and one of, I would say, a central key figure in the development of masters and veterans inline hockey. Great goal there by the Czechs. Still got good hands. Martin Mekera, number 7, one of the key proponents. He's hosted a number of these games in the Czech Republic. One of the earliest ones in Berun, and then later in Prague, in the arena, Slavia Prague. And he's been a key central figure along with the organizing committee here in Italy, David Ninzati, Stefan Zisser, Alberto Lastruzzi, and Gilbert Portier, who's sort of developed and supported this game under the Fédération Internationale de Roller Sports, which covers a lot. It's a big umbrella organization. So big thanks to Martin, and appreciates his efforts in supporting the game. And I've really enjoyed working together with him and David to keep on supporting these old-time hockey players. Worth every penny of it in this match earlier on. While we're here watching this Vets game, hopefully there's a few Canadians up and about and watching their dads, possibly their granddads, getting on for it. Still kicking and skating around. I want to give you guys an opportunity to catch up with some of the standings. I'm just going to shuffle some papers here in a minute. Just can't get the staff, to be honest with you. Okay, ladies and gents, let's go for it. Get your pens and pencils out ready. Fill in your spreadsheets. Get your trackers going. God, I've heard that somewhere before. Here come the standings as of this morning. So matches have been played since then, so I'll try and catch these up for you a little bit. Matches still yet to be played and calculated, but as of first thing this morning, at 8 o'clock a.m. local time, we have for the Masters in Pool Red, Canada in first place with 8 points. France in second place with 7 points. USA and Slovenia tied at third with 6. That was before they just won their match against France. So USA will have moved up. Possibly so will Canada later today. Slovakia, as of this morning, fourth with 3 points, and Germany bringing up the rear with 0. In Pool Black, for the Masters, is under 38s. Slap shot there coming in from Martin. Canadian defense just holding on while they're a little short-handed. Maybe doing some stick handling to try and eke out some time. In the pool black for the Masters, this is under 38s. Italy in first place with 10. The Czech Republic, 9 in second place. Switzerland third with 7. GB and Australia together at fourth with 3 apiece. Danger here for Canada in the veterans. Enjoying the luxury of playing on this Pala Honda surface. The one at the Murano Arena being a little bit trickier to get the hang of. This steel mat surface is renowned in Europe and possibly all over the world for being the most consistent roller hockey surface to play on. And I know a lot of teams are doing everything they can to try and stay here at this arena to play on this more consistent pitch. Hungary in the pool black are last. They've got no points yet, but they play GB later today. Quite possibly some changes to be made. That was of 8 o'clock this morning, so changes have been made since then, and I'll try and update you a little bit more later on today. Team Canada here in the veterans competition, just waiting for their man to pop out of the box. Team Canada going forward now, running into a bit of a brick wall. The Czech wall. Good stick checking there. Going for a wraparound, didn't come off. Sends it to the point. Ooh, fans the shot. The puck was dancing up on its edge. Oh, that's a big opportunity. How did he not strike? Oh, bobbling puck. Keeper had to flip over behind himself. Golden opportunity, turning into precisely absolutely nothing. Oh my goodness. Is he calling the goal? They were well, we wonder whether or not that whistle should have gone. He was in motion to blow it, but then he's calling it the goal. That's a bit harsh. I think Canadians are getting a little bit unlucky there, not getting the run of the puck. Another attack trying to be absorbed by the Canadian veteran defenders. And then breaking forward. Good pace. And a little pressure. Czechs know how to play old-time hockey too, Canada. So get a little bit of shoulders and hips in there as well. Albeit some of them probably including a few metal parts and the odd reconstructive surgery scar. But still, eh? The wonders of modern medicine. Look at him go. I know what they feel like, our Maple Leaf boys down there, because I've been at the brunt of this kick attack many times myself, as they were in the main competition and they've grown older and stepped up into the vets. I know exactly what it's like to play against these guys. They're big units. I suffered in Biarritz, Anglet, in France 4 or 5 years ago. I was compressed by one of these chaps and used my knee as a brake into the boards as I was defending. And had to take a couple of years out, unfortunately, while I limped around like a duck with one leg. Although very luckily, as a sports tutor at York College in York, the old one, United Kingdom, I got to use my MRI scan as a demonstration model for the students for a little while. It was a good way to kill some time anyway, because they certainly weren't interested in any other lectures that I had about, you know, the work that they were supposed to be doing. So I'd just get a picture of the old knee up, scroll through it, talk about some parts. That kept him busy for a half an hour. And then break for an early lunch. Standard. I'm still here, everybody. Don't panic. We're still live. I'm just getting a little distracted by a gentleman. Oh dear. Caught on the hop, just like I was. Martin just waving up to the commentary box here. I think he sort of meant that one to be seen by me. I wanted the commentary. Martin is a prolific goal scorer, but maybe has struggled a little bit with injury for a few years. And I think is quite happy to be scoring out there now. I know his big toe is a little bit on the sore side. So he's modified his diet a little bit, and that seems to have helped him out in this scoring record for this year, in veterans at least anyway. Look forward to playing with him a little bit later on today if I get a chance. I was saying, just a gentleman that has been messaging me on Facebook called Mike Farinelli in US of A. He's got a number of chaps set up watching and supporting his team and supporting hockey. And I really appreciate his patronage, and we're just messaging each other about a couple of guys that he knows out here. One in particular, Bill Adams, who's playing for the Vets for Canada, plays in his leagues down in the States. So it's really great to know that we've got some super fans out there right across North America getting up really early in the morning to watch. Getting an early breakfast and a nice strong coffee. You'll need some of the stuff that they serve up here in Italy. Triple espressos, standard. Certainly helps me get up in the morning. And the very long, tall beers that they serve at the bar help me to go to sleep at night. Helped a few of these players go to sleep last night as well too. Maybe a little bit later than they ought to have done. The heat here in the Pala Onda, make no mistake, is absolutely oppressive. It's got to be in the mid-30s outside now, and it's still only midday. And so these old chaps here are absolutely suffering. It's not just because they're getting on a little bit that they're slowing down, it's because the heat's oppressive. And of course, as you will know, wearing your hockey kit indoors in the heat of the summer in Italy is a big ask. But the Canadians and the Czechs definitely ones to be seen rehydrating with certain substances late into the evening every night. You can certainly see them there. If all the rest of the teams are trying super fit, that might be evidence of some of the late night partying there, the slight mistiming of that reverse pass. Czechs are tough to beat. This is a strong team. They've played together a long time in World Championships in the main teams. So these guys know each other well, and they know the game well. A lot of these guys will be ex-pros and semi-pros. They'll play in Czech leagues, either on wheels or on ice. They've likely played in IIHF competitions. So they're well known to each other. The hockey fraternity, especially on wheels, knows each other. Here's another big chance for Martin Mekara, but selflessly gives up the pass. Canada vets need to turn up the gas here a little bit if they want to sort of get themselves up on the scoreboards and put some pressure on this Czech team. Keep them honest. They've got to get some possession though. Good stick handlers, the Czechs, and very patient. If I get some time a little bit later, I'm going to do some calculations. I'll get some accurate predictions of quarterfinals. I don't want to start speculating too early because there are still matches to be played all day today. I might be bobbing down to the next village to get a game in myself and give my voice a little bit of a rest before the quarterfinals start in earnest tomorrow. Canada with a little bit of a chance here. Veterans trying to get their names signed on the team sheet. Potential. Doesn't want to go around the keeper that way. Oh, really good patience on the pass. Still just can't quite find. There's a whistle on that, so we're just waiting to see the stoppage in play. The Canadians, the puck's just not dropping to them in the sort of target zone. Needs to be a little bit sharper on the finish. Team GB now just settling in to get downstairs and get prepared for their match against Hungary. For Team GB, it's a must-win match. They need to get some points up to make sure that they end up in the top half of the draw. There's a bit of a draw split between the sort of top 4 teams in each of the pools. So 1 through 4 will play each other in the quarterfinals. in the usual sort of divisional split. And then you've got a plate competition that will run alongside that. I mean, we wouldn't like to call it the wooden spoon, but, you know, they're playing for something. And that will be for the 5th and 6th players in each pool. So there's a little plate competition that goes on that work their way up to a winners and a runners-up quarterfinals that determines 9th through 12th placing. In the main competition in the quarterfinals, we'll have the winners of each of those quarterfinals going to the high side of the final board, playing for semis and then the championship final and a bronze medal position. And then you've got a low final board. So runners up from each of those quarters will then go on to play their own low semifinal and then a low final to determine 5, 6, 7, and 8. The times for those matches are numbered, but I just don't know who will be in where. So my job this afternoon will be to make those predictions, do those calculations based on the results of matches today, and I'll try and plot those in for you. And then hopefully those of you who are making arrangements, ordering pizzas, setting up the lawn chairs, plugging in your HDMI cables in the back of the TV to get the PC or the tablet hooked up to the big screen, can plan and plot your timings and send out the messages to your colleagues and friends to get everyone on the sofa or out in the garden, or if you're stuck at work, like I probably should be, thanks to the kind efforts of my colleagues who remind me frequently how lucky I am to be out here. So cheers to those lads back in the pit who are grafting away and scratching their heads at what can only be described as organized chaos. I think that's probably actually a generous description. For the veterans, I can give you now, if you guys have got your pens and papers ready, you're going to plug into your spreadsheet for the vets. There's 2 pools, red and black as well. 5 teams in each. That's pretty impressive turnout. I mean, this is only the 2nd year that the vets has been running as a competition alongside the main masters comp. It started here last year, really. It's something that we've always done at the annual friendly tournament. It's sort of like our preparation competition, really friendly, you know, barbecues and beers comp with the masters. One of the best, I mean, really the very best thing about playing at this level is that these chaps, I'm very happy to consider them, most of them, my friends, and we know each other well now. We've had the benefit of meeting each other regularly for years, and you know, these are family and friends, people that we know, people that we visit and talk to all the time and share our passion and our love for this sport. So it's great to meet up in Legnaro, which is near Venice in Italy, under the tent in the very hottest outdoor pitch covered by a sort of a canvas, a green canvas with great permanent structured arches. And it's a great pitch outside. It's typical sort of Italian kind of venue. It's attached to a sports complex in Legnaro. And we play a friendly competition, beer and barbecue. And that's where the idea came, again, from David Ninzati, the chief organizer of this competition now, who decided to throw some really cool things together, like an all-star competition, and MVP kind of awards and games, and a more concentrated veterans comp for some of the real old-timers who were here back in the day when we first started this, back in Bisley, the brainchild of the French team manager Alain Blanchet, and the famous P.Y. Gerbeau working together to build this kind of competition, to build the Masters competitions as an actual feature. And from those roots, here we are. And now we've got two side-by-side comps running alongside each other, vets and Masters. And the spectacle of this kind of hockey ever growing. It's quite big now. If you were watching the opening ceremony, you'll have seen something like getting on for 100 people on that pitch or more, competitors. And maybe now in the background, 100 people more, volunteers and, you know, people off the street that they've gathered, called in every favor that you can possibly imagine from every corner of the world. Often it's said amongst our colleagues here as we chat around on an evening how difficult it would be to even imagine doing this anywhere else except Italy, because they are such great hosts. They go so far out of their way and make such sacrifices to their time to accommodate everyone, and they do it for nothing more than appreciation for the effort that we make and the love of their sport. Nobody's on the payroll here, nobody at all. And so, you know, forgive us if it looks a little bit like it's DIY, Home Depot style, put it together, build it yourself, because that's exactly what it is. A hobby rather than a profession. And most of these gents and ladies who are here will be running back to work and picking up the pile where we left off. Myself, to say the least. Ugh. Well, let's not talk about that. We're not there now. We're here. It's Thursday. It's midday in the heat of the afternoon Italian sun. If you're still out there watching me, breakfast time in North America. We've got Canada versus the Czech Republic at the veterans side of the competition. Just taking an interval and trying to cool off. It's getting hotter and hotter in this box as I speak. I'm going to be taking a break this afternoon, and going to go and put my wheels on for the first time in a year or more, and try and save a little bit of my voice for the quarters and semis coming up tomorrow and on Saturday. Join us here tomorrow on Lepus Hockey for our live stream, coming from a camera that we borrowed from some chap who had it in his garage. Sitting there gathering dust, said he could lend it. So without him, we wouldn't have anything. So cheers for that. And on Saturday, for the semis and finals, we will have the expertise of Nicola Ambrosini, who's my colleague and producer from Xone Multimedia, X-O-N-E Multimedia, and he'll be broadcasting that live on YouTube as well, and bringing back the same package as we had on day one, which is a really really cleverly put together graphics package and various other different bits and pieces that he's arranged, multi-camera links. And with the very best will in the world, I will endeavor to pull some players up here into the booth with me and do some exclusive interviews pre and post match. And I'll get as many guys as I can up here to start having a chat, and you can hear them speak about what this game and these championships mean to them, and take a break from listening to my droning on. We start off here the second half of this veterans match. Oh dear. A little bit of skittery skating gives the Canadians an opportunity to try and score. Just struggling to finish in those attacking positions in the box. This is a veterans competition. Coming over here to the Paula Onda because of fixture congestion. There's so many matches trying to be held with these two village arenas. But what great infrastructure as well that they've got here. I mean, one of the few places really that we could hold a competition such as this at this size. They've done really well to hold us and host us. And the arena managers have been very accommodating to try and, you know, put us all up here in what's technically their off season. So most of them should be on holiday now. Here they all are up and at a highly discounted price, no doubt. Getting themselves back to work in the heat of the afternoon and doing all their bits and pieces for us while we occupy their what otherwise would be a quietly closed place all summer. Making them work for a living. A little unlucky there. Just raising his stick up in the air. Number 79, going, taking a break. That's Greg. Greg Zona playing for the Vets. Hopefully, with a little bit of luck, he's sent a message home to Toronto, where Anna, his wife, and Doris and Rick, his mum and dad, are watching. If they've gotten up early to see him play and representing Canada. To which he states very clearly that it's a dream come true to represent his country and to wear that maple leaf. And so it is with many of them. I'm glad to be able to return the favor to him by sending a shout out to him and other Canadian players as well too, as I get the chance to scroll through their bios. Stand up chaps, these gents have taken the time to send me this information and just remind me how important it is for them to play for Team Canada, even if it's a tough ask like this against the Czech Vets, who have played together a lot and know each other very, very well. It's going to be a big, tough ask. But keep your chins up, Canadians. Don't let your head droop into your cereal bowl. Pour yourself another hot cup of coffee. Make it strong, Italian style. Appreciate that your boys are out here doing a very good job in this oppressive heat. And still skating well and doing a reasonably good job. Canada, up until this point, in the veterans, in their pool black, are leading the competition with 6 points. That might change at the end of this match, although it's not over. There's still 11 minutes, nearly 12 minutes left in the second period of this veterans competition. Team Czech versus Team Canada. Canada struggling just a little bit to get into dangerous attacking positions. This could be one. Unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to beat this Czech keeper, who's been an outstanding professional and an ex-professional player in the Czech leagues for a long time. The Czechs are really, really dangerous going forward. Canada might be a little bit on a break here, but couldn't quite gather the puck. Hopefully you guys are up there in Toronto watching your man, number 79, Greg, holding station in the neutral zone and representing Canada at veterans level. And it's really impressive that Canada, like so many of the North American teams, and indeed the Australians as well, who come out here every year, have brought 2 teams for Masters and Vets. Just a little demonstration. Oh, look at this loose puck in front. He's got to be able to score. No, no. Penalty was on, so Tacho Pucko, Sito Downo. This game every bit as important. Every bit as important to these Vets as it is to their compatriots in the full men's team of Canada. Sitting in the box for his sins, number 77, Vince Wand from Hanover, Ontario. Definitely showing a little bit of passion for this sport. He was inspired watching the Calgary Olympics, he says to me. And like all good Canadians, of course, he's in love with the game in a way that can't really quite be described with words, but it can be seen. Just like his compatriots in Team Canada, he's honoured to be selected for the Vets team this year, represent Canada. Says he wants to lead by example. Kiddies, that is not where you want to be sitting. But Vince just doing his best there. To try and push back a little bit against this Czech team that are pretty solid. Maybe just overwhelming Canada, not letting them get stuck into any attacking positions in this veterans side of the competition. An experienced player, Vince. Back in the early 90s at Walkerton Blackhawks, Hanover Barons, finalists in the All-Ontario League, Walkerton Capitals, and of course, like all these old chaps, coaching, helping out, paying it forward as they do. Oakville Waterfront men's division, Masters Division silver medalist, 2016. Team Canada Inline Masters, 4th place, that was last year. I remember him playing out here last year and being introduced to him first time. And all the Canadian team last year were great to meet and really imposed themselves well on the competition. Maybe not competing to the standard that maybe they expected, maybe the nation expected. Finding it quite surprisingly difficult. Finding the level of hockey out here very competent, very physical. So the Canadians have got a lot to live up to, but a lot to also expect from this year as well too. A strong team coming out. Certainly on the Masters side, they're looking really good. Played well in the matches I've seen so far. Really grinding, doing a lot of the physical work. A typical Canadian game, to be honest with you. And you'll forgive me for resorting to some national stereotypes, but I'm afraid that a cliche is a cliche because a lot of the times it's true. Stereotypes are there because they are common. And Vince is joined by his colleague in the box to patiently sit and watch the team hold off an oppressive Czech onslaught. Slap shot. Ouch. Martin Mekra just taking position as the screen. Hoping to cause some problems. Oh, a little tip there. Could have gone in. Struggling a little bit on his feet there, Martin. He's suffering a bit. He's got some sore feet there, and looks like he's hopping up and down there as well, but he's in the right position. He's going to get a tip. A little bit of an error there of judgment. But nevertheless, potentially could take advantage of the power play for the period of time that they'll have it, 17 seconds before Canada is back to full strength. So can they maybe finally take advantage? And it looks as though there's some discussions on the Canadian bench, so maybe they're going to be rearranging some lines here and putting together a bit of a power line. Still chatting away, the referee's there at the bench having a committee meeting. So 17 seconds of 3-on-3. Canadian player will run out of the box in 14 seconds and try and contribute to a proper Canadian power play and maybe a scoring opportunity. They've got 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second period of this veterans match between Canada and the Czech Republic. Canada occupying currently the top spot in this pool, but maybe not for long. This could be the one that they're looking for. Oh, he took his time. The puck was on its edge. He couldn't quite control it well enough to make the shot and put the power on it, so it went a little wide. Ooh, nice crossing pass. Open spot. Can he beat the keeper? Went for the 5-hole, but the mattresses came tumbling down. And there's the puck. Neatly tucked in between the pillows. The keeper's wishing now that he had some pillows to lie down on because he can't quite get up. As I mentioned, it's hot. For goodness sake, I'm sat up here. I mean, I'm sweating from my fingers. So what these chaps are doing down there, goodness sake, must be absolutely sweltering. Oh, chance, chance, chance. What? Okay, getting a little heated there. Probably getting on a bit, chaps, for handbags. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Canada with 5 minutes have pulled the keeper, so they've got 5 outfield players. They're really going for it. They need to win the faceoffs though, but unlucky. Oh dear. If you're going to pull your keeper, you've got to get possession. That's fair enough. No, surely not. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. A little shoulder to shoulder, but the referee just doesn't like it. Oh dear, what can the Canadians do? They're trying all the tricks. Not getting the run of play. Tripping. Well, okay. There are interpretations of the rules going on here. And Team Canada in this veterans competition might have just missed a really golden opportunity to put their score on the board and crack that goose egg. No such luck. And luck being a bit of a trick thing. I don't think that was intentional. Maybe a little bit of a lingering stick as the Czech player tried to go past him again with his pace. A little bit of sticky tricky. Number 9 just trying to impose himself a little bit physically on this game to see if that makes a difference. Now some stick handling going on here. Canada have got to go forward strong. Does he make that pass? Is he going to cross it? Oh, tried to sweep the rebound. Could have come forward. I think Canada number 9 is just showing the frustration, wanting to impose himself on the game, but not being able to quite pull it off. Wanting to get a score, at least one on the board. Keep them honest, the Czech team, but as I've said before, these guys, they've played together for years. They know each other really well. They're going to kind of be where the puck is going to be before they even know where they're going to pass it. They do know each other that well. I've played against them many times, and they're talented players. They look slow, but it's their confidence. Although they're not entirely invulnerable, as you can see from this little passing play as they go on their attacking run in the last 4 minutes. You know, they've got their weaknesses. Ooh, little rebound popping up right to Mekara here. Passing through, slap shot, goes wide, and clears itself. If a couple of you guys are tuning in now, whether it's early in the morning in Canada or whether you're in the UK, just tuning in early doors to get ready for watching GB come up against Hungary, which for them should be like a really important match. It's important for them to just get out of the bottom 2 positions, those bottom 2 positions in the pools going through to the plate competition over at the Moran Arena. The rest of the guys staying over here. So the GB team, I know, are desperate to put together whatever it is that they can to stay on this side of the comp. So they've got to go out and play strong against the Hungary team next. With your permission, I'd like to take a break for that match. It will still be live streamed, so it will still be on, and it will still be live to watch. But I'm going to go and take a break. Maybe go and play over in the other arena and get my heart rate up a little bit, and then come back and cool off and relax tonight and try and save my voice a little bit for tomorrow's quarterfinal action. And if I get back here in time to stream some matches and commentate, what I will do at that point, so tune in later this evening. Let's quickly look at the schedule. Last match of today is Czech Republic versus Italy. That's at 8:30 local time. USA v Slovenia at 5:30 local time. Could be a good match. 7 o'clock, Germany v France. Chance for France to redeem. Potentially one of those matches, I'll come back on board if you guys are around and available, and I will, at that point, I promise you, have put together some more definitive answers to the question, who's playing where in the quarters starting tomorrow. Tomorrow, the quarterfinals will be live streamed on this channel, which is the Lepis Hockey, L-E-P-I-S, Hockey, kindly put together by a couple of local chaps who are friends, favors called in by David Ninzati and the organizing team here. And then on Saturday, for the semis and the final, you will find us on the full media package of X-Zone Multimedia, X-O-N-E Multimedia, live streamed on YouTube with all the full graphics and the benefits of some tidy little replays as well. Can I recommend everybody as well, while you're on here, to check out World Inline Hockey on Facebook. They're doing some really cool, super high-def, slow-mo videos and some really good quality media photography. Whoosh. Shot from far out, almost tipped in by their own player. Canada still just struggling to find the basket. They got 2 minutes left to do it. Czech 4, Canada 0 in this second period of the veterans competition. In the sweltering heat. Danger. I'm getting a little dizzy here at this camera work. Trying to watch a little bit live and a little bit on the stream here just to see little replays of what's happening, and I'm struggling to follow this camera.